Hey, it's Jen. Welcome to Creepy Culture. And tonight I have my friend Trisha with Monsters Unleashed. Hi, Trisha. Thank you
Hi,
for being here.
you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Um, Trisha and Monsters Unleashed, they're family, and they go out with their feet on the ground in the LBL, which is the Land Between the Lakes. So I'll just preface this a little bit. The Land Between the Lakes is a national recreation area. It's 171,280 acres in Kentucky and Tennessee between Lake Barley and Kentucky Lake, and it was a designated recreation area in 1963 by John F. Kennedy. And um, the local lore at the Land Between the Lakes, or the LBL as we all call it, centers heavily on the beast of the LBL, or a dogman, a large wolf-like bipedal creature with red eyes, alongside tales of Civil War ghosts, Native American curses, and mysterious lights over old cemeteries, reflecting the area's deep history and displaced communities. So they have the dogman of the LBL is a 7 foot tall bipedal creature with wolfish head, long arms, claws, glowing red eyes, often leaving large human-like tracks. One tale says it's a cursed Native American shaman. Another suggests a European settler with night rages. People report terrifying howls, strange smells, and inexplicable disappearances or loss of time. And then we have the Civil War ghost, which are spirits of soldiers potentially unaware of that the war ended, are said to wander the battle affected areas. Native American curses. Early settlers spoke of curses placed on the land by Native Americans. And then the cemetery lights are mysterious lights, often described as orbs, appearing over the 220 family cemeteries scattered throughout the LBL. So that's a little bit of information about the LBL. And Trisha, you've had a lot of stuff crazy happen to you there.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, pretty much. I mean, it started back in September 14th of this year. Um, Me and my dad started our organization in August, and he decided LBL was going to be our first place. So I decided that I was going to go in. We went in for like a family picnic on September 14th. We stopped at Mount Pleasant Cemetery, which, for those of you who don't know, that is by the site of where an alleged family of four massacre happened, where a dog man slaughtered this family of four. It was a mother, a father, a son, and a little girl. And the story goes that, they found the mother's body, the father's body, and the little boy's body. And then they found clothing, a little girl's clothing. So the officers went searching and found this little girl just in pieces in a tree. There was actually some blood that dripped down on the officer's face, and that's how they figured out the little girl was in the tree.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's that's a very crazy story. Mount Pleasant Cemetery is where I had my first experience where something blew in my ear, and it made like a sound, and it was weird because first off, my real name is Patricia. Okay. Secondly, right before it happened, I saw something black moving in the woods behind a closed gate to the right of me. And right after, my daughter had said, "Mom, come here, there's something weird." So I followed her, and I'm walking in the same path as her. It's the same footsteps as she's making, I'm walking in. And I got to Andrew Smith Jackson's gravestone, and something blew in my ear, and it clogged my ear so bad I lost hearing for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And a few days later, I noticed there. Actually, I didn't notice it. My husband did because I can't look inside my ear. My husband had noticed that there was a scratch in my ear, and we
Mm.
thought my eardrum was busted. I didn't go to the doctor because if I would have went to the doctor and be like, "How would this happen?" and be like, "Oh well, something in a cemetery blew in my ear,"
Right.
they're gonna call my ass to the crazy hospital.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience there. I don't know exactly what did it. I've talked to several people. They've said that this spirit was giving me a warning that something was circling me. Who knows what it was and why it did it? Um, but it was crazy. I was terrified of the cemetery, and I haven't stepped foot. No, take that back. I have stepped foot in that cemetery back in October with a group of people because Monsters Unleashed did a 4-day, one night investigation in the LBL. So our first location was Mount Pleasant Cemetery. I'll tell you what, when I went back, Jennifer, I didn't feel right. We're filming and everything, and I'm not saying anything to anybody. I'm staying distant and I'm staying quiet. And, my father, he was like, it took you a little while to warm up in the woods. I said, as soon as we got out of Mount Pleasant, I was fine. But I haven't been back there since we were filming. It 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 scared my daughter. And when it blew in my ear, like the sound, the sound just everything got louder to me. Like footsteps. My daughter is, I believe she's like 5'1", about 100 pounds, and she was walking like a 250-pound man. That's how loud it was. And she went to go jump in the Jeep because I told her, take off running, we got to get out of here right now. She ran, and I jumped in the Jeep, and then I screamed, and then she started screaming because I screamed to scare her, but she didn't feel right. She was worried about me. And on the way home was that attacked me at that cemetery. I'm starting to believe it wasn't anything good. I don't think it was Andrew Smith Jackson. I think it was something more sinister. And here's why. On our way home, I got so aggressive with everybody. I was attacking my husband, attacking my kids. I told everybody to leave me the hell alone and just started screaming. I was experienced before. And I'm a calm, mellow person. I don't get set off that easy. My kids do drive me nuts, but where I'm getting aggressive. And everybody, that was in the vehicle that day, they were all like, what's going on with Mom? Is she okay? So I came home and we ended up doing a show, and that show was on our YouTube. It's our very first live video on our YouTube page. And I begged my dad. I'm like, Dad, I can't talk about this right now. I can't talk about this. But he was right. I have to talk about this because holding this in is going to just cause more harm to my mental health. And people need to be made aware of. There's several things in the LBL. There you have, demons. You have spirits. You have shadow people, Dogman. There's some rakes in there. You have Sasquatches in there. And who knows what else. But these are just things that I know of that are in the LBL.
Right.
And then we did our investigation with Monsters Unleashed. And we had a night investigation in the Downs 2 Cemetery where we got some very good audio of some howls that were not wolves and they were not coyotes. We've had that analyzed by several different people, and there's no match to a wolf. It does not match a coyote. What else could it be?
Right.
And we had Night Vision Paranormal with us that night, and we were running an Ovilus box. And they told us, or the Ovilus box, right before the house, my dad had been making calls. And we were getting activity like all around us. It was circling us. It'd be in the back, then in front, and then on the sides. There was just activity all around us when he would do a call. So this Ovilus box tells us, male leader watching above. So we're like, male leader watching above, trying to figure out if we could make what it's saying make sense.
Right.
And then it says beckon. Well, for those of you, if you don't know what beckon is a call. So, my dad, he did another call, and I think it was roughly about 30 seconds later, multiple aggressive long howls about 300 yards from us. Um, they rattled your bones. They were very aggressive howls, very deep howls, very scary howls. You hear me in the video going, holy shit, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of me jumping away from it, I'm jumping towards the house. And this was like my first time ever doing a night investigation, so I was still learning the ropes on everything, and that was pretty terrifying that night.
I believe that because I heard something before and I don't know what it was. I think it was a Bigfoot, but it scared me bad enough. I ran in the house like a little
Yeah,
scaredy cat because it scared me so bad. I was like, what in the world is
yeah.
that?
And
So,
these woods are so dense. They're so dense that in the dark, you might be able to see the tree line, but you're not seeing anything behind
right.
it at
It gets
all.
pitch black.
Yeah, pitch black. And then to add to that, you know, it starts raining down. So now we can't
Mm,
see anything because it's pitch black, but we also can't hear anything. So we're packing up and leaving because we're all thinking, okay, it's raining. We can't hear nothing. We can barely see anything because there's fog rolling in. The woods are pitch black. This is its opportunity to attack.
right.
So we end up leaving, and the whole way home, I wouldn't say our nerves were shot because we were scared. Our nerves because we were like, what the hell did we just catch on audio?
Right.
This is, well, it was new to me, not so new to my dad, but when he came to my house, the intention of, going into the LBL and investigating everything, he never thought we were going to catch anything at all.
Right.
And we've been catching that audio. We've gotten tree knocks. We've got a couple photos of what appears to be a dogman. We actually went in to try to see if we could debunk our photo of, we named him Ed the dogman, and we were not successful in debunking that. We did measurements. We got the exact photo. We recreated the
Right.
photos, and there's nothing there. And this thing had to have been like 15 to 20 foot up in the tree for us to be able to get the photo that we got of it.
Right.
And then I went back several weeks later, got another photo of there's something in photos, and they're timestamped for 4:28 p.m. same day. I have the timestamp. If anybody wants to see them, and you see something with a head and ears peeking around a tree, and then the same photo, not even a second later, move positions. So I got to thinking about, there's been a lot of stories about portals and trees. Like, these things could use trees as portals. And that picture, when I took it, it reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've got that posted and everything. And that day, I believe it was that day, it was not that day. I'm sorry, let me correct myself. But a couple weekends later, we added Andy Johnson to our team, and we were in the LBL with him. And he kept telling me about the story that he's read in Martin Grove's book, about a ditch where Martin and Daryl Denton had saw something coming out of it, and they got sick. I mean, they got really, really, really sick. They were hit with that infrasound.
Yep.
He's like, I want to see this ditch. I want to go to it. Well, I, told myself, I'm not telling you where this ditch is. And I said, but I'll make you a deal. Like, you take me to the road where you think this ditch is.
Right.
And I'll tell you if you're right. He ended up leading us to the exact road where that ditch was. So we stopped and we got out, and I started walking towards the ditch. And as soon as I got out of my Jeep, I told my husband, I said, something is off. Something don't feel right. We probably shouldn't be here. And he just looks at me, and I keep walking. Next thing you know, smack, something smacks me across my face. Same ear that something had blew in my ear a couple months prior. And I just start yelling, it did it again. The damn thing did it again. So I'm thinking this is maybe that same spirit that
Right.
LBL that it hit me. So I brushed it off. I'm like, this damn thing hit me again. I'm the type of person, if something happens to me, I make a joke about it to try to make myself feel better, or try to make somebody else laugh so I can see them laugh so I can start feeling better about it. It wasn't working. It wasn't working. So, I'm like, you know what? Toughen up, Trish. Grow a pair. Let's continue this. So I did. Nothing really ever scares me. I fought cancer 5 times. I flipped my car and shouldn't have survived the fire or the flipping of the car, but I did. So nothing really scares me. So I look at Andy and I say, Andy, I'm going to be the first person to walk down in there. So I walked down in there, and in this ditch, there's 2 culverts. There's the one on the right, it's cleaned out. You can see up in it. The one on the left had a tree beside of it that the branch was bent, almost like a door, like something was using it as a door.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Andy, I said, I'm going down in there and I'm going to get a photo of inside that closed off culvert. And he's like, okay. And he starts talking to Doug. And I'm walking down in there, and I'm probably about 3 foot away from the opening of this culvert. And this odor just smacks me in the face. And when I say odor, it's the worst odor I've ever smelled. It really, I would rather smell how people shoot a deer and they bust the sack and it smells bad.
Yeah.
I would rather smell that 100 times over than what I smelled that day.
That's gross.
And it was like a sulfur, battery acid, sewage smell.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I would wish that upon anybody to ever smell that smell. When I smelled it, I don't know if this is going to make sense, but this smell had some warmth to it. I know that doesn't make sense, but it was like I could not feel it, but I could smell like the breath of it in front of me. And like a warm, that probably does not make sense at all, but that is, I'm really bad with words, and I apologize, but that is the best way that I can explain it. So I took off, and before I say this, I'm 4'11", okay? 4'11". I'm a short thing. Doug, my husband, is 6'2", about 250 pounds. I ran up out of there so fast, screaming, "We gotta fucking get out of here! We gotta get out of here now!" That I damn near tackled Doug to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care that there was briars sticking to my face running out of there. I got the fuck up out of there. I didn't see anything physically, but I believe I seen something in its transparent form. That's what it felt like. The smell was there. I didn't feel right. And I got sick. I got really sick. I started throwing up, running to my Jeep. My heart was racing. And I squatted down to take a breath, and everybody's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I couldn't catch my breath." And I'm like, patting my chest like this. I said, I can't breathe. And I've been through a lot in my life, a lot of scary things, and that what happened to me that day takes the cake.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it really
Right.
was. You know, my husband said, and he didn't tell me this for a couple of days. He waited for me to kind of try to calm down about everything before he said anything. And he told me, he said, your eyes turn colors. He said, they turn a different color. Your pupils
Mm.
look different. He said that when I was sitting in the Jeep and we were driving out of there, that he was talking to me and I wasn't responding. And I remember sitting in the Jeep and hearing him talk, but I thought I was responding to him, and I wasn't.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what the hell happened. There's people that told me that it sounds like I was hit with infrasound. Um, I don't know. I don't know a lot about the infrasound. I believe in it. Um, but Jennifer, that day it had me terrified. I believe that whatever was there was in a transparent form, like it's predator mode. That's what I call it. Predator mode.
Yep.
Goes invisible, and it was face to face with me.
I so believe you because you know about my stuff. So I've
Yeah,
had something up in my face that was invisible too. I don't like that. So I would.
no,
You're braver than I would be because I would have took off running immediately. I wouldn't have been sticking around. I would have been gone.
no.
So
I had to. I couldn't even get in my Jeep. Like I just felt so weak, and I was sick and throwing up and everything. And first thing came to my mind was I need to record this. I need to say what just happened, so that way I don't lose it.
mm-hmm.
So I pick up my phone and I record, and I was so scared. I was so scared that they were pointing behind me, that there was a vehicle coming, but they weren't saying anything. They were just pointing like this with their eyes big. That I jumped in mid video, and I don't know. I don't have any answers for what happened to me. I know I haven't been back to that ditch. Now we've got an experiment that we would like to do there. I'm not ready to go back yet.
I
So
don't
who
blame you.
knows when I'll go back to be able to do that. But I know right now I'm not ready to go back there. Like I'll go back to the LBL and I'll continue investigating, but I can't go back to that ditch yet. I just can't.
I don't blame you. That's creepy and scary. And I've heard infrasound will also make you very ill for the next couple or few days after
Hmm.
you get hit with it. People get sick. I've heard that. You get
Yeah.
sick from it.
No, the next morning I woke up and I felt like I had been in a car accident. You know, like when you're in a car accident and the next day the adrenaline wears off and you're sore.
Hmm.
I couldn't lift my left shoulder. You know, I had kind of had to hold it in like a sling position just to get any relief. It was so sore. I felt like I had been in a very bad car accident. I apologize. My dogs are going nuts
It's okay.
outside, which kind of creeps me out too.
Man, you know, I was just reading, I didn't read the bottom part of that LBL thing, but it says at the bottom, it says other legends, and it says hidden tunnels and portals. And it says some lore hints at secret underground bases. And it says like DUMBS, you know, abbreviated. I don't know what that means. Or ancient energy portals fueled by LBL's location on ley lines. You know, those ley lines, if you could ever get a good map of some ley lines, I would check that out for real because I've
Yeah,
heard that things like portals and stuff exist on ley lines. So I'm surprised they put that in the description. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. You'll have to send it to me because I've not read that before. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what it said at the bottom. My thumb was over it. I didn't see it, but I noticed it while you were talking. I was like, uh-oh. So I can't even believe they put that in there
Yeah,
about the ley lines.
I'm gonna look for a map of that now.
Mm-hmm.
I
So,
mean, that place is so crazy, and it's full of energy of everything. Like I said, there you've got cults going in there doing rituals.
mm-hmm.
You've got the shadow people, and we've got a photo of a shadow person too. Um, and you have Dogman, you have Sasquatch, you've got like a serpent in the water that has like the face of a snake, and he's about 30 foot long, and he can walk on land and stuff. So I mean, there's just nothing surprises me in the LBL.
Right. And you
It
guys got a bunch of evidence on your thing, right? Pictures and stuff that you guys have caught. Just what howls and um all kinds of things. Like you guys seeing stuff in the trees and
Yeah, I found a dead raccoon that had been like the guts had been ripped out of it. There was no blood on the tree. There was no blood around on the ground anywhere around it. It was like the raccoon had been killed somewhere else and then placed in this tree. And this thing was kind of forced down in between these branches. So we're currently investigating that. We've been told it could have been a ritual, and that could be very well true. But where's the blood?
how high up the tree is it?
It was about 7 foot up in the tree.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Heard all of that too. Animals being found and wedged in between two tree branches, 7 to 10 feet up in a tree. So that's a
Yep.
common thing anymore. I hear about that a lot. So,
It blew my mind. That's the first time I caught something like that since we've been investigating. And I knew my day would come when I would, but that day, just we were just there on a follow up for a photo that we got that had like a dark shadow figure. It looked like a Sasquatch in it, so we went to do a follow up there and then look at this abandoned concrete structure that people think is a bunker. And so we're, trying to figure out exactly what this is, and we do believe it could be a bunker. But the standing structure, what's left, we believe that it was the back room of it where they would keep like their explosives and stuff. And we think there's more to this structure, and it's gone. Now we did find some like buried um, like concrete in the ground and some cable wiring that was really deep down in there, like they had covered up buried over the telephone pole or the power pole, whatever you want to call it. So we were just in there to do that day, and as soon as I walk in, I look to the left, and I'm like, what the hell is that? So me being me, I just bum rush up in there, and I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? I'm like, this is a raccoon, and the guts are just ripped out of it, and there's no blood, nothing. There was no maggots, there was no flies, there was barely any odor to it. So this thing, it was fresh. I'd say probably less than a week old.
mm-hmm.
But that blew my mind. I'm still in shock by that. And that same day, we did a night investigation at a campground there, and we had everything happening around us. We had a huge splash in the water, and we didn't see anything in the water. And we think that a big rock, like, and this would have had to been a boulder size rock that was thrown in the water, because this splash was huge. It was huge. Um, and then we got howls that night that we haven't really analyzed those yet. We're a little behind on some of our field stuff, but that's one of our next things to do is to look into them howls. And then we had eye shine, and I caught 2 orbs. We caught a red orb, and then there was like a greenish flash, greenish yellow, and it looked like it was flashing, just floating. And then you just see it get larger, and it just pops up into the screen of my night vision camera. And then, one of our subscribers caught in the video that it looks like there's something cloaking itself about 10 foot away from where I was sitting. Me and his wife was sitting, should I say. And then he said that there's something also cloaking itself in the fire. Well, I got to looking at that photo, and it does look like, you see an ear and you see a snout, and like the bottom part of its snout, and then there's like a black spot. There's smoke and then black spot, and the rest of the smoke with the flames. And I'm like, surely to God, whatever this is isn't standing in the damn fire. So I'm not going to sit here and say that was something, but it does look like there's something standing in the fire.
Right.
It's just, that place is just crazy. I'm in there every weekend, sometimes twice a weekend, for about 12 to 16 hours every time I go in. It has this weird thing of when you go and you're in there for a while and then you go to leave, you get kind of like depressed, like, oh man, I really don't want to leave, or I can't wait to come back. So there's something in there that's drawing people's energy to suck them back in to the LBL. And boy, it's got me hooked. It really does. I can't stay away from there. Definitely going to have to get you out there, though, Jennifer. Definitely going to have to get you there.
Oh, I know. It's not even that far from me. It's like 5 hours. So when it gets not freezing out, I'll be down. Check it out. I'm going to link Monsters Unleashed, like your YouTube channel and your Facebook, underneath this video later on when we're done. But I was wondering, have you guys found any tracks, like Bigfoot tracks, Dogman tracks, anything weird like that?
We have. I found several Sasquatch tracks. They're not casted because I always forget my plaster Paris at home, and I got to order some because my very first casting I did, I messed up on it. Don't laugh at me. I'm not the casting person. I go in there and I find it, and I'm like, okay, you guys need to cast that.
Right.
And I messed up. So, and it really, now that I think back on it, the one print, I don't think I would have had enough plaster to cast it. It was really deep, really, really deep. But it was very obvious of what it was. And there was two prints. They were side by side. Like it was just standing side by side. It wasn't like a stride, like it was walking, just standing there. And they measured to about 20 inches long. And then about 10 yards to the left of where those prints were, I found a Dogman track, which is, it's posted on our TikTok. A lot of people said I made that with a shovel.
Yeah, right.
And when I talk about this print, I always have to say that because that blew my mind. I don't know if I should, be pissed off somebody said that, or if I should take that as a compliment that somebody thinks I'm that good of an artist.
Right.
I'm not an artist at all. I can't draw worth a lick.
Me either. I can't even draw a stick
And
person.
that print would be a very hard print to do with a shovel.
Right.
But it was a really good print. It's gotten a lot of people's attention. And the day before I caught that Dogman print, Mike Smith, he caught one that resembles it. It's almost just like it. And the holler that's probably a mile away from where we were at, where I got mine, just the day before. So I don't know if maybe the thing was, I don't know which direction his print was facing. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same one or not. I think they move in packs, just like wolves do. I think they're never alone. I think there's at least two of them always with each other. But that was a really, really good print that we found. It'll blow your mind. It really will.
Yeah, it's real good. And a 20-inch Bigfoot, freaking huge.
It was. Now I found some smaller ones that were about 17 inches. They were like in the leaves, so it's really hard to cast the ones that are pressing down on the leaves and stuff like that. But that we found that one the day that we were getting screams of a 10 to a 13-year-old girl down in Jones Creek in the LBL. And
Oh,
always had
that's
activity. Oh yeah, it was pretty terrifying because I was just down there, checking in. I like to go pay my to Ed. It's our dog, man. We named him, so I like to just go down there with Ed. And we're in there, and I'm explaining to Andy like where we got the photo. We walked deeper up in there, and we kept hearing noises behind us, knocks. So we come out of there, we're on the road, and we're walking towards this little campground area. Andy wanted to show us where he wanted to camp this summer. So I'm like, okay, let's go check it out. And then we just start hearing screams. They started off in front of us, to the right, and it would stop, and then it would, about 15 minutes later, be to the left, and then they would be behind us. And after the screams finally stopped, I heard a predator rattle. And I'm looking around at Andy and I'm at Doug, and they're like, yeah, we heard that. And I'm like, what the fuck's doing that?
I wish I knew. I've heard it too. And I never
That,
told anybody till you mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
yeah, so I'm like, I'm still looking into what type of cryptid's making that.
It's the click. It's the click that I heard.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I'm a predator fan. Look at all my predators up there. You know what I mean? I have a
yeah,
predator tattoo, and I heard the predator click, the way it clicks. Um, I've heard that too, and I would have never told anybody my whole life till you brought that up that one day. I was
yeah.
like, "Oh wow!"
I heard that, and like my anxiety from what had happened to me at that ditch kicked in high gear, and I'm like, I think we should go. Obviously, with the screams, and now that I don't feel like we're welcome here right now, so we should
Right,
probably just go ahead and go. And as we walked out, that's when I found that 17-inch Sasquatch print. There's prints everywhere there, everywhere. My 12-year-old daughter, uh, first time I took her in there, that was the day that the thing blew my ear. We were down at this area called Sugar Bay, and she was like, Mom, don't walk. Just stop before you step on it. And I'm like, oh, great, there's a snake.
right.
It's a snake, because it was copperhead season.
I know, and that's the first thing I would have thought too, because my family's from Tennessee and Kentucky, and I
Yeah.
know there's copperheads. I'm terrified of them. So,
Yeah. And she's like, look down. And I look down, and I'm like, I don't see anything. What are you talking about? She goes, look to your right and look down, and don't take a step. And there's this massive print. And then, I think my dad's got the photo of it because I took a picture and sent it to him. I was like, look at what your 12-year-old granddaughter just found.
right,
So we started digging, and this is before we had ever seen a Dogman print. So we started digging into what they look like and everything, and we sent it to a couple people, and we talked to Donna Copas about it, and we talked to several people before we ever said, what it was or what it could be, and it ended up being my daughter found a Dogman track. She don't go in there with me anymore after the whole blowing in my ear and seeing what happened to me, the aftermath of what happened to me in the ditch. She don't go with me anymore, and I'm never going to ask her. I don't believe that that place is really good to take children to. And there are some areas that there's of activity that I will take my kids to, but that I'm a firm believer in that land is cursed. There's a lot of
hmm
people, native people, that have died there. There's native burial grounds. There's then don't quote me on this. I think there's 280 known cemeteries, but there's a shit ton that's not even known, listed.
right.
Um, so you have, native burial grounds, all these cemeteries. The government, when they went in to force these people out, they would call town hall meetings, and while the people were at the town hall meetings, they would go and burn their houses down.
Oh
And
wow.
a lot of people, they got flooded out and died. There's actual like towns underneath these lakes.
Yeah, that's what it
That just,
said.
yeah, just been flooded. And I haven't seen these, but I have been told by these by a very credible source that certain times of the year when the water is really low, probably around this time,
Yeah,
you can actually see grave sites in the water.
that is sad that they did that. You know what?
It is. It is sad. It just shows you how shady our is, man. They
Absolutely.
don't. They don't. They don't care. Um, because when I go to some of these cemeteries, I try to stay out of them. But I'm currently looking for a group that goes in and helps clean up some of these cemeteries because a lot of them, it's so sad to see. Nobody goes up there and visits these people. There's a bunch of vegetation around them. You can hardly make out the headstones. I've seen grave sites there that are listed, but there's no headstones. The only markers they have is like the PC pipe that's been cut and made into a cross.
Aw.
And it's just graveyards to me are special places to me.
Mhm.
I go and I visit my grandparents every time we go to West Virginia, and I like spending time with the spirits and letting them know that even though they have passed, we still care.
Right.
We're still here, and some of these graveyards they don't get that attention, and it's very sad to see. And it blows my mind that it's federally owned, but they can't hire the park rangers or extra park rangers to go in and clean some of these up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest, I don't ever see any park rangers in there. I don't ever really see any law enforcement. And apparently they have their own law enforcement agency in there. I don't ever see them.
Sorry,
Now
my cat is scratching.
I will tell you that I have seen a couple of unmarked vehicles in the LBL.
Mm-hmm.
So
I bet so.
yeah, what are they hiding? The story with that massacre, they think that special forces went in and killed this thing and hauled it off. And I've actually been researching some of that. Part of it, I think, is part of it don't make sense. I have to on that end of things. Um,
Right.
but it's if you're into cryptids, if you're into demons, or if you're into that is your place to go. There's so much
Right.
history behind so many cryptids in there. The activity is insane. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get activity every day because we have had several times we've went in where we ain't seen shit, we ain't heard shit, nothing's happened. Um, but a lot of the times I've went in, I've had something happen. I've witnessed whether it was tree knocks or howls or I've seen something move because I have seen something move and got whoops from the thing that I saw. It went to the other ridge beside me and it was whooping at me.
Ew.
And it was knocking at me. It sounded like a woodpecker. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, this can't be nothing because it sounded like a woodpecker. Well, then I
It
later
is.
thought, yeah, it is something because these things can mimic animals.
Yep. I've heard the
You know,
woodpeckers. I've heard terrible owls.
yeah, it's woodpecker thing blew my mind because it didn't sound. It sounded like a woodpecker, but it was way louder.
Yes, like a
I,
huge ass woodpecker.
yeah, huge ass,
Oh,
like a pterodactyl pecking at a tree.
uh, definitely. I've heard that several times. I'm like, that is not a normal woodpecker. Like, seriously, it's not.
No.
So there's a difference because I have heard woodpeckers in my backyard. It's the same woodpeckers that I go where I go hiking. There's the same woodpeckers, but they're so much louder. where I go hiking than they are in my backyard. And it's like, I don't really think that's a woodpecker. And it's so loud. I don't understand how it's that loud, but I do understand how it's that loud because it's not a woodpecker.
Yeah, when it started knocking, because we had a spirit box going that day too, and Mark Roberts with Night Vision Paranormal, he was with us, but he had walked over like the backside of the cemetery towards the water, and I heard these knocks, and he heard one. He looked at me, and his face just went like that, and I looked at him just like that too. So we sat there for a second, and it kept knocking. It was like knock, knock, knock. And I'm like, this thing is being consistent. And I said, if I'm ever going to have an opportunity to get up close and personal and actually see it, now would be my time. So, bam, my short ass went running up into the woods. My husband and Andy are behind me, and Andy goes, she's too quick. I can't keep up with her. So I'm up in there. They finally get up in there, and I'm like, yo, watch to the right of us. There's something knocking. I hear it. It's like it was drawing me in, luring me in. So once I got real close to it, it stopped, and I heard movement, and then I see it like not run, but take off behind this massive pile of brush. And I'll always know where this brush is at because right behind it, there's a tree that's shaped like a Y, and it's a very large tree. And then I look over to the left, and there's all these broke trees that are stacked up on each other, making these structures. And these trees that have been uprooted, making these big ass holes. And I'm like, is this a nest? Are we standing in its nest? And I do believe that was a nest.
It might have been.
But it was a beautiful, beautiful nest. I mean, it was their artwork that they do with the trees. It's so fascinating to see. Like, I love Sasquatches, okay? Like, I tell everybody, Sasquatch to me is like everybody's neighborhood Spider-Man. That's just how I see them. Now, do I believe that there are some aggressive ones? Yes. And I believe when you encountered that one, that was an aggressive one.
It was time to go.
I had one throw a rock at me, and the rock hit my Jeep and put a pretty good size dent in it, which I don't know how I'm going to explain that to the insurance company, but I don't even think I'm going to turn it in. I think I might take a sticker on it that says this mark was made by a Sasquatch. So
Can you imagine trying to tell the insurance company a Bigfoot threw a rock at my Jeep?
Yeah. I don't even know where to begin on explaining that. I really don't. I mean, I guess I could try just to get their reaction. That would be one hell of a video to do, is call my insurance company and file a claim and put what happened as Sasquatch threw a rock at my Jeep. So, I don't know. It's crazy.
That's another thing too. You always know when it's time to leave the woods because that vibe gets thick, and it's time to go.
And I believe, like, when me and my dad had saw the one that he saw kind of rush down towards me and my stepmother, we stayed there and just watched it. And we watched this thing move. And I think it had babies with it. And that's why it was appearing to be very aggressive towards us. But we watched it move. We have a photo and a video, and you can see it like it's in one position, facing one way, and then the next, it's in another one looking dead at us. So after we caught all of that, we're just standing there, and everything's quiet. And then me and my dad are like staring at each other, not even blinking. And at the same exact time, we go, I think we need to leave. I think we're done here.
You can tell.
Yeah. I don't know if this thing like mind spoke to us to tell us, hey, you got what you got. You need to leave.
Yep, run along.
Or if it was just, run along. We did. We left. But I believe that, and it had babies with it because it was it was being aggressive.
Hmm.
I mean, it was just beautiful. They're fascinating creatures to study about.
I know one thing. I will always make sure I have a gun with me when I go in the woods, and I'm going to make sure I have a way bigger gun than I had the day that other stuff happened to me because uh, whatever I was dealing with, the vibe was terrible, and friendly is not even an option at this point because it was so the the vibe was so terrible. It was mm-mm, just nope, nope. I
That
was
vibe
done.
from a dog man, it's very gut wrenching. It really
Hmm.
is. And the fact that, and I know I'm not the only one that believes this, I am a firm believer that these things have a predator mode. They go invisible to where you cannot see them.
I believe that. 100%.
Knowing that is terrifying.
Hmm.
How are you supposed to protect yourself to something that's invisible? You know, like it. There's just so much to learn about them, but the vibe that it puts off, it's gut wrenching. It makes you sick.
Hmm. Yeah, that thing I heard scream across the lake. Well, it didn't scream, it yelled. Um, I was sick for 2 days after that. So I think I got hit with infrasound as well.
It sounds like it. It really does. I don't know. And then, like, they talk about these frequencies and stuff. We just got that audio, I was talking to you about where we were recording and we saw this is where we saw that red orb. And Andy was recording off his GoPro.
Hmm.
And we didn't see the footage until a couple of days ago and we're reviewing it. And I pointed out the red orb. And then my dad was slowing the video down so we could maybe zoom and see if there was anything with it because it looked like there was movement in the tree, something jumping around.
Hmm.
And as he slowed it down, he got the I don't even know how to explain that audio of what it sounds like. It's like a screeching scream, maybe a scratching. I don't know how to explain it. It's terrifying though. And we did not hear that standing there while we were recording. This was only captured in the video.
Ain't that weird how stuff just pops up in the recording? Because that happened to me on a guest that had an encounter. Same thing. I didn't hear it while I was talking to him, but it played back in the recording.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah,
So it's really weird how the recordings pick up stuff that we can't hear, um, even with an earbud in our ear, because I
yeah.
had an earbud in my ear when I was recording him and I didn't hear a thing until I played back the recording and then I could hear it plain as day. And I'm like, what in the world was that? I don't even know. It's creepy. Um, I don't know what to think about that, honestly.
It's. Did I let you listen to it?
No, you need to send it to me so I can hear it.
I will send it to you and let you listen to it. We're not putting that out right now until we want to analyze it a little bit better to
Yeah.
see if we can make out what it is or see what the frequency level is on it. I guess I'm not a frequency person. I don't really know a lot about that. I go in and I look for evidence of these things, footprints, tree structures, see if I can get a visual of them. And I've had a couple of visuals. Um, but yeah, we're still working. We're getting ready to start analyzing that. We're all kind of just in the shock stage of that. Like,
Hmm.
what the hell just happened? And
Right.
then I was TikTok live that night too because my phone stopped recording and said my memory was full. So I went TikTok live and my back is up against this ridge that earlier in the video I'm telling people I I don't like this ridge. It gives me a bad feeling, it creeps me out, and then I have my back to it. And I'm TikTok live because we're experiencing so much that I wanted our followers to be able to experience it with us.
All right.
And so my face is like out of the camera and somebody sends me, those like motion detected gifs that has to be on a face or it won't register.
Right. Yeah.
somebody sends me a pair of glasses that ends up behind me.
Oh,
And when I brought my face back into the camera, it disappears.
that's weird.
So it is weird. So I don't know if that's something or not, but to me, that's really weird. And after hearing that audio, and then the subscriber telling us that he had saw something in that same area in the video, there was something behind me.
Oh gosh, there might have been.
It wouldn't surprise me. It really won't. I mean, it really wouldn't. That place is just, it's just crazy.
I told you what I thought too earlier. You know, I think I thought it was normal my whole life to see things that I saw or uh, encounter things that I saw. I thought everybody did, but apparently everybody doesn't. So I'm not going to say we're weird, but I think we're gifted in some kind of way. So
Yeah. I was talking to somebody about markings on the palms of your hands. And now I was told if you have M's, I'm sorry, I'm looking down at the palms of my hands because I have M's on the both of my hands. And
me
they both,
too.
yeah, both, does yours have a triangle in it?
Yes,
Okay, I was told by somebody that that means we are marked. But that's
a
all they said.
triangle. It's on both my hands. Look,
Yeah, M's with triangles. Yep, yep. I was told, and I don't know how true it is. I want to look more into it. Maybe find one of those. What are those people called? That I don't even know what they're called. Um, but I want to talk to somebody that knows a lot about that because I was told that that means that you are marked.
hmm,
So I don't know if that has something to do with it. I know all my life I've had weird things happen to me. Like I
me
was
too.
telling you, when I believe I was 8 years old, I was at school and I had like something tell me, and I felt that my grandmother had died. And when I
Yeah.
came home, got off the bus, there was nobody there to get me off the bus. And I got home, and my mom told me, my grandmother had died. So and I've always been able to like very well. I'm not a psychic. I'm not claiming to be a psychic, but
Me either.
I'm very sensitive. I will say that I'm very sensitive to like negative
Hmm.
energies.
Me too. It makes me have anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. And it always tells me, get the fuck out of here.
Hmm.
So, and I can always like tell when something is either going to happen, when it's going to happen, or something about something has already happened. Um,
Me too.
yeah. So
I
I don't know. I
definitely.
don't know, man. Like I just did an ancestry DNA because I want to learn, about my ancestry, see if there's some history with that stuff in my bloodline or whatever. But it's crazy because, yeah, people think we're weird.
We're
I
not weird.
don't.
We're gifted, apparently.
I think we're just blessed. I think we're blessed. We
Yep.
really are.
So, do you want to tell everybody where Monsters Unleashed is at? Like on.
Yes, you can find Monsters Unleashed on TikTok, monsters.unleashed. You can find us on YouTube at monsters_unleashed. And you can find us on Facebook at monsters_unleashed. And my name is Trisha Collins. You can private message me on Facebook. We have a Gmail. It's monsters.unleashed25@gmail.com. And we're always taking in new reports.
Yep. Thank you for telling everybody that. And you guys can go to any of those places. Don't you guys post everything to every social media, like evidence you guys find in your videos of you guys out in the LBL and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might take us a while because we don't just out there. We take our evidence,
Right.
we think about it, when we want to make sure it's 100% before we put out anything. Um,
Right. Yep. So that's where you can find them at. And I appreciate you so much for coming on and talking about the LBL, because that place in the crypto world, everybody knows about the LBL.
Yes, they do.
So
And I appreciate you for
it's
having me.
something else. Yeah. So I appreciate you coming on. And I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. If I could remember how to do this. I'm technically challenged, but hold on a minute. But thank you for coming on, and thanks for telling all this strange stuff that's happened to you at the LBL. And I'm looking forward to
Gotta
seeing
talk
more
about
stuff from
it
there.
with somebody. Gotta talk about it with somebody. If not, it eats at me alive. But I really do appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, but I'm always here if you need to talk. Don't forget, just call me.
I
Hold
will.
on,